Hey everyone, this is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net, live from One Buccaneer Place after day 5 of training camp. I hope I get the days right. I managed to screw that up yesterday. Bucks came out in full pads again today. It's interesting. I was talking to a bunch of the guys in the stands. It definitely felt like the energy was down a little bit. That could have been a vestige of how high the energy had been in shells earlier. I mentioned a little bit on the video from yesterday that for full pads, especially after a day of shells where the energy was so high, it felt like the energy was a little low yesterday too. Now, I don't mean this as a negative, like the guys aren't working hard or anything like that. It's just you almost expect it after that high level of energy in shells to have almost an uncontrollable level of energy when you hit the pads, and we haven't seen that. Today is also the day before the first break, so the guys may be a little bit down on energy there. But that all as a backdrop, there's some great action out there on the field today, and from a Bucs fan's perspective, the defense did a pretty damn good job of getting after it today, from the defensive line, linebackers, and the secondary, all three levels today. A couple of guys who popped, Demar Dotson, we had some conversations in the stands as well about the offensive line, whether Demar was going to be able to come back and be the guy that he was before the injury. He's a big guy, athletic guy. Those guys don't just come off the injury status and then immediately resume the level of play that they had. But today, both in 11 on 11s, 11 on 9s, also in the 1-on-1 drills, Demar Dotson was a beast. He actually took George Johnson, I tweeted out, took his groceries, said bad things about his parents, and then threw him off the field, more or less. Of course, using exaggeration, but he did a great job in general in the play today. He was popping up with his action in drills. Guys that people pay attention to, that are important to pay attention to. Noah Spence inside moves look very, very sharp. In fact, in general, our defensive line inside moves look very, very sharp. Their rip moves are getting work, and that's something they're going to have to work on to get it outside of the offensive line. Now, when it comes down to drills, we spent some time over there looking at the defensive line drills, some great drills. I'll explain on the podcast in more detail. I don't want to drag this video out too long, but the attention to detail from Smitty and his defensive staff is phenomenal. Footwork, height of the foot, location of the second step, right, or the first step and the second step. When you do coaching, it's stance and start, right? You want get off, so you want a good solid stance. You want to be able to get out of your stance with power, aggression, and acceleration. But you need to have a vector. It's not all violence with no vector. So they were working really closely with that. They used a small hurdle to make sure that their foot was coming down at the depth that they want. They were getting depth on their second step, so they couldn't easily get washed out. They also used a tactic where they used a small towel to make sure that their second step stomped exactly where they wanted to do it. It was really good work to see that done. As far as guys that popped, I thought that the offense today, the guys you expect to pop, Coach Koetter in the post-practice conversation mentioned all the same guys we've been mentioning all week. You know, you got the running backs that are playing well, Cam Brate's flashing every practice. Quarterbacks are in and out with their accuracy in general, but I think some of that's caused by the defense, to be quite honest. Running backs are looking good. Kraus, from a receiving perspective, and Spencer both flashed a bit towards the end of practice. But the big thing today was Coach Koetter in the conversation after practice made the comment that I tweeted, essentially, hey, listen, the question about the third receiver isn't really a question. Adam Humphries has got that. He can do everything, and he's doing a great job in camp and continues to impress. So takeaways from today: defense is ahead of the offense a bit. The offense is taking their shots. I put out a couple of things with this play that we had last year in our system. Essentially reverse action, where the tight end leaks out from the right-hand side of the field. It doesn't really matter which side of the field, but it's usually the right to the left. Jameis comes back across. He had ASJ on it. ASJ misjudged it, didn't run it out, missed the play. About 4 plays later, when Glennon and the twos were in, had the exact same play. Cam Brate running wide open, and he checked down and missed the check down. These are not surprises for us, but they're things that have to get worked on. So other than that, good time. This will be my last report until I come back from Canton. So you guys, I won't be able to do these video reports from Canton, but I'll try and do what I can while I'm up there. We'll get this up on YouTube as well, and we're going to try and see if we can get a podcast put together for this week while I'm away. But thanks for tuning into these videos. Love to have the conversation. Love to get in Twitter conversations about it as well. So thanks again.